Hello and welcome. In today's video we're going to do a shootout between two different LM board 386 little circuits that you can get on either Amazon or eBay. There are probably other places like AliExpress or Temu where you can where you can get these. It doesn't really matter. I recently got a second one. It's in this bag. And after we've built it, we're gonna put both into this. The one that you've seen me use in a bunch of videos. I made the $1 fuzz pedal using that board, and then the other one is gonna be this. And we're gonna shoot them out, just try them out. One on one side and one on the other, just play guitar straight through both and go back and forth with this toggle switch and just see what the difference is and what happens. And then we're also going to talk about which one is the better, what you can do with them, and which one is easier to turn into a pedal. Obviously, one of them I've already turned into a lot of pedals, and hopefully you've seen all of those videos. If you haven't, there is a playlist on my channel where you can check it out and hopefully get inspired. But for now, we're going to jump into putting this kit together and making it ready to go into a pedal. So if you have this kit or you're planning on getting this kit, you can follow along and put this together and make it guitar pedal ready. Anyway, that's it for now. Let's jump into it. Okay, so the kit comes in a bag like this, and we have to take all the parts out and put them together ourselves. Now, this is something that is both good and bad. It is more work, and it's harder to get them out of the bag. No, put this together yourself than it is to not put it together. Obviously, you could, no work is less work than some work. And here we can see our first issue is that this LM board is broken. I'm gonna put this together anyway, and we're gonna see if that is just a cosmetic little issue or if this won't work. Let's start off with these two resistors. Let's see here, 4.7k right there, 4.7k right there. There are no instructions, so be a tiny bit problematic. Hopefully we won't have issues. But these two came together and they are two of the same, so I'm gonna go with them being the 4.7. You can measure them or you can use the color code to see if that is correct, but for now I'm just gonna, and then when it says C5 or something like that, it's usually a capacitor. R5 or something like that would be a resistor. I'm just gonna go with that being the way it is. I'm gonna put this in now, and as you can, I don't know if you can see this, but like all the legs are crooked and bent, and I don't know. I can bend them back, hopefully, without them breaking off. We'll have to see. I'm just taking a plier and I'm just working them a little bit like this. But it's annoying. It wasn't a very expensive little kit, but I don't like it when I pay for things and they show up and it all looks messy and broken. So I'm immediately having less luck with this one than with the other ones, which I don't know if that says anything or mean anything, but it doesn't bode well for this one. Now with this one we can change things out. So for example, if the LM board, if the LM circuit doesn't really function the way it's supposed to because it's broken, we can do something about it. We can switch it out. It's not something that I want to do, but we can do it if we need to. I'm going to put this LED in just because it's a part of the circuit, but I am going to keep it, or at least try to keep it fairly long. And that's just because it's going to be easier to take this out if I need to. Next thing is these electrolytic capacitors. And on this board it's actually pretty nice. They've shown the stripped color in which direction something needs to go. And with the sizes you can tell which one is supposed to go where. So it's not that hard. Just press them into place. Bend the legs out a little bit. This kit is coming together fairly well, I think. I have the pot, which I'm pretty sure is going to go in here. Like, see, another leg that is bent. And if you can press them back with your fingers and things like that, but do it with a plier just to be super sure that nothing is being broken off. And you can obviously replace parts. One of the reasons why this kit might be a good thing, because you might be able to switch things out for other values and get a different sound. I mean, maybe you can buy 10 of these and experiment with switching out the parts and just keep the LM board and therefore have a bunch of different pedals. I'm not saying that's something that I'm going to do, but if I find this to be something that is actually pretty cool or interesting, it might be worth doing. I did not put these two on because I'm going to put wires in and then we're going to use those wires instead. So yeah, I'm going to put this in before it gets too crowded. But as you can see, it's broken. I hope it won't affect the sound because I can see the leg, but I can't see any connections or anything inner workings. So I'm hoping that it's all just cosmetic. But I'll plug this in before we go to the demo. And if things are bad, then we might have to rethink things. Oh, these two plugs here could have just been these two wires. I didn't have to wire it like this. That's really silly of me. SP is speaker, so that's got to be the signal out. I'm gonna strip these back and put on a little bit of solder, and then I'm just gonna go and quickly test this kit out to see if this LM board actually works. It's the only part here where I feel like maybe it doesn't work because of the way it looked on the back. It was all broken, so give me a second, I'll be right back. We'll see what happens. Okay, so I just plugged this in. This doesn't work. And yeah, I have to go and get a new because I don't have one. So yeah, it doesn't work. I'm gonna have to go and do that. So I'll be back. We'll see how long it takes for me to go and get one. See you whenever. Okay, so I'm back. And I want to just say I have a new LM board chip in there. It's a little bit of a mess right here, right now. And I don't want to touch anything because horrible sounds when something gets disconnected. There are a couple of things we have to talk about before we go into the actual sound test. First off, I have them both going up here to get power, which means that they are sort of hodgepodge together. Not the best thing to do, and so there's going to be more noise, background noise, ground noise, things that you wouldn't necessarily have otherwise, but that's just part of the game when it goes to like mixing around with circuits and fiddling around. If you find something in here that you like but you think no, it's too much noise, you know, take the noise with a grain of salt because you might not have that. Second, this board has a ground for the in and a ground for the out, and you have to use those. I tried to have just one ground, but you have to use both grounds because otherwise it doesn't work. Just keep that in mind. On this one, for example, you can use just one ground. It's all good. Okay, I have both of the volumes because this is just the way the board comes to you, but with the volume put on, the way I've shown you in other videos. This one has a volume that it comes with, and that's stock. Everything here is stock on both of them except for extra volume there. And I've put them both to about nothing. Basically, I've rolled them off, and I'm going to slowly roll them up. Here we have our controller. When you see this light, when it's off, like it is right now, it's true bypass. So it's just the way my guitar sound. So here you have it. And I have the volume on the amp set to almost 0. It's in between 0 and 1. So it's really low volume. So if you can't really tell, that's because these things are really loud, and I don't want to, you know, like, I don't want to kill myself with sound, but I also don't want to explode the speaker or anything. So you have to be careful when you're doing these sorts of things, that you don't do that. So this will turn this from bypass, and when it's red, it's these red cables, and they're going to the LM board that you see right here, the classic one, the one we've been using in all my other videos. And then when I press this, it will turn from red to green. And when it turns to green, it's going to be these two green wires here that are connected to this one. So it's the new one. If you look right here, you can see the in has a blue little zip tie right there. The in on the red and the in on the green also has a blue little zip tie, so you can keep track of where the signal is going. But other than that, it's just wired up the way it is, or the way it's supposed to be. So I'm gonna play the guitar, I'm gonna turn on the effects, and then we're gonna go A and B them a little bit, and then I'm gonna move the pots around a little bit, and we'll just do that for a bit and just see what happens. Sounds good? Good. Okay, so let's go. Okay, now I'm gonna just move this back to this, and I'm just gonna move this up a little bit, and we'll just see what happens. And there is a clear difference. This one turns dirty. This one has parts in it that cleans it up. If you listen, you can hear. This one is a little higher volume, so I should probably roll this up a little bit more to match it. But even though we haven't gotten halfway, we're at fuzz territory already. And if I switch it over to this, you notice it's just a clean boost. Actually, it's gone into overdrive already, but there is a difference. But yeah, definitely interesting. Let's move this up a little bit more now, and this one up a little bit more now, and see when we get to those almost maxed out tones where we're at then. So the first one. definitely feel like this is more of an overdrive pedal and this is more of a fuzz, which is kind of interesting because I don't see them having that many differences between them. Let's move these up a little bit more and just see when we're getting to almost maxing them out. They're starting to be more similar now, I feel like, but the red one, this one, is more aggressive. It's just... Actually, let's max both of them out. I think that's it, right? We've tested them both out, and this is what I would say. They're both fun in their own way. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think. Which one do you prefer? Do you feel like I made the right choice of using this in all my videos? Or should I have gotten this sooner rather than later? Here are my final thoughts, at least for right now. We have two LM boards right here, and the first one, the original one I've been using, is more aggressive. It's more punk rock, it's more metal, it's more those sorts of tones. And it depends on what you want out of a fuzz, but I kind of want that anger out of a fuzz. It's one of the reasons why I like these pedals, because I don't feel like most fuzzes have that rawness to them. And maybe it's bad, you know, that eventually you'll get used to it and you'll have to push for the next thing. And that's the way it's just always gonna have to be, that just pushing harder and harder and harder until you hit a roof and you just try to keep getting past that roof. And I don't know what the next thing is, blowing up the sun or something. Sound-wise, I think they're very close, but there is just that little taste difference, you know? That I can't tell you which one is better. But I can tell you this, there are good reasons to getting one over the other. As you saw in the video, the actual chip was broken and I had to get a new one. And it was a little bit confusing with the wires, the fact that I had to switch them around and put them in different places. I'll show you real quick here now. But basically, you have your in and out right here, and you have your ground and your in right here, and you have your out and ground right here. And you need to use those. And then you have your powers right there as well. I'll take a picture of this and upload it to Instagram. So you can see it. You have to put your wires like that. You can't use the place where the jack is supposed to go. For some weird reason, I don't know why that didn't work, but it didn't. Which is strange because you find the connection with continuity anyway, but it just didn't want to work. One of nature's mysteries or something. The pros and cons of the two different boards is one is surface mount and one is through hole mount. And the surface mount one is most likely going to be the one that doesn't have any broken parts, while the through hole mounted one will potentially have that, which you saw me having that issue. On the flip side of that, the surface mounted one, if something is broken, you most likely won't be able to fix it or find out what is broken without taking it apart, and it will give you a headache. Possibly, at least. Maybe. But the through-hole mounted one we can have a lot of fun and try to figure out something weird and crazy to do with it. Because we can get to all the parts and we can flip them around and change them out, and we can do all sorts of things. I don't know, I haven't looked into it, but most likely we can tweak this and really figure out something cool. I felt like this was at lower volume, more of an overdrive. I mean, at really low it felt like it was just a boost pedal, which is different than the other one because that one is fuzz all the way through, and it's just a question of how much you want. But this one, it's sort of low volume, it was a boost, then it turned into an overdrive, and then it turned into a fuzz or something. Yeah, that's the pros and cons. When it comes to turning into a pedal, again, it depends on what you want to do. If you want to make very basic, the very first, the Marco Terra fuzz, then it is easier to just follow that video because it's lesser steps and there are lesser things that can go wrong. But here, for example, you get the pot that you need with it. You can mount it like I did here, or you can just put it on wires so you can have this board somewhere else. But you do have to solder all the parts into the right place, which isn't that hard to do because there's only one place where everything can go, but you still have to do it. And that's a part of it, I suppose. I think that it sort of depends on what you want to get out of it and what you want to do. If you are buying these LM board things that I've been showing you in videos because you want to experiment and you want to build something and come up with maybe your own circuit or find something to mod, then this is definitely what you should get. This is going to be a lot easier to circuit bend or whatever you want to call it than this other one. I mean, which you can, of course, you can. And I've seen some of you, and I've done it myself, fiddle around in here. But these parts are, as you can probably tell, a lot smaller. So it depends on, if you want to make an easy little fuzz, go with the first one. If you want to build a fuzz that you can tweak around in and maybe change into something else, or just fine tune and add different components and maybe build out and use as a base, and go with the other one. Anyway, I hope this helped. I hope you learned something or got inspired, or that you found this interesting. Talk to me in the comments below so that I know what you think about all of these things that I've been saying and doing in this video. Let me also know if we should experiment with it. I'm thinking that next video, since I have all these things up, I might as well do it. I'm gonna plug this back in, solder it in place here with the wires, and I'm gonna do a little bit of experimenting like the other videos we've done where we have like an LM board and we experiment with adding things and stuff like that. So I think I'm gonna do that now as a little extra thing, but I think I'm gonna do a sort of start off thing and not go super serious, just fiddle around for a bit. But let me know if that's something interesting and we should do that more. Not just with this one, but other similar things. Because those videos are fun to make, but they are a little worrisome to make because it's one of those things where I don't know where I'm going or what I'm doing, and I'm sort of just jumping around, you know, like this. And then I just hope that you guys are gonna like them. And it seems like you do, but I don't know. So talk to me in the comments below. And until next time, stay awesome and cool and go and play your favorite guitar. Doesn't have to be this guitar, because it can't.